Welcome back, everyone, to Pikmin. We are going to get the blue Pikmin today. And probably try to find some more caves to investigate. There are 2 more caves to investigate. As well as I'm sure there's probably some treasures that I didn't see that are above ground. I'm going to try to look for those as well, but blue Pikmin, #1 priority here. Yellow Pikmin, #2 priority. We want to increase the yellow Pikmin population from a mere 23, 24 to probably, hopefully closer to 100. What else? These little guys are like, I don't know if they're here to basically feed my Pikmin machine or what. But I do appreciate that they're there, but they don't give me enough Pikmin in return. I want the Bulborbs. The Bulborbs give me like 3 Pikmin, killing them. That's provided I don't lose any Pikmin, of course. Alright, that works for me. Please take the Bulborb back to the processing facility. I will grab up some Piggermans right now. Now, in the last episode I mentioned I'm cleaning up my house. I am kind of trying to do... My mother has this thing that she does, and unfortunately she does it randomly. And I've never been one necessarily to want to hold on to junk, quote unquote. Of course, one man's junk is another man's treasure, right? And some of the treasure junk I have in my basement is worth a lot of money. Do I use it? No, not usually. Should I sell it? Probably at this point I should, or the value really goes down. But have I made a conscious decision to do that yet? No. Why? Because if I want to get full value out of it, I'm going to have to start selling it on eBay. And I really don't want to do that. I really don't want the hassle of having to sell stuff on eBay. So that means I'm not going to get full value for it. So, for instance... And not everything I own do I want to sell either. So, for instance, say, you know, I'll give you sort of a basic example. I own a number of NES games, okay, and if I were to pare down the NES collection, what would I keep? What would I let go of? Well, in all likelihood, I would let go of the games that aren't very good, that are kind of expensive. Or stuff that I probably won't ever play on its original hardware. So this conversation gets more difficult as emulation becomes more prominent and as televisions continue to advance. You know, the ability to play Super Mario Brothers or Punch-Out or anything as it originally intends, you basically have to have a CRT to do that because timing, blah blah blah. I'm not gonna bore you. If you want to learn more, go on the internet, look this shit up. But basically, you want to use the original hardware. You're gonna want an original television that hardware went to. But say I were to pare down the collection, I would get rid of things, like I said, that would be something I wouldn't be interested in keeping or for whatever reason playing in an official capacity. And that would be like, for me, it would be like, I would keep your Mario games, I'd keep both Zelda games, even though I'd probably never play Zelda 2. I would keep all 3 of the Castlevania games, even though I probably wouldn't play 2. There's some others, I'm sure. Kirby would be one of them, you know. Anything of the first party Nintendo games. even probably the light gun games I'd probably keep, even though I don't know I'd ever legitimately play a light gun game ever again. But then after that, you're left with a lot of stuff that is either A, low-cost junk, or B, is very expensive. And where I run into the problem here is, on the one hand, if I sell the low-cost junk, I'll probably get $5-10 per game. Whereas if I sell it online, or if I sell it to a dealer, I'll probably get anywhere in the ballpark of like 25 cents to a couple bucks. But in the same regard, I would not be responsible for shipping and it getting lost, or the buyer trying to rip me off, or any of that jazz. So, like, imagine selling... I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a game that you would sell, that you would feel comfortable enough to ship across the country, and you would not wash, and you worry that the person you're selling to isn't going to rip you off. I had something similar happen to me a while back. I was finishing off the N64 collection. This was... oh boy. This is more than 5 years ago now, because I've basically given up collecting video games after the influx of repo/fake cartridges started to become more common than the actual hardware, and it became more and more difficult to tell the difference between and I'm not talking about the people who make a repo that are clearly selling a repo, and they're just basically gonna be like, yeah, here's Pokemon Black. I don't mean Pokemon Black as in black and white Pokemon. I mean like original Game Boy cartridge Pokemon Black. It is an alternate version of Pokemon Red and Blue and Green that someone ROM hacked and made. Okay? Grab that, you bastards. I threw you up there so you could get that, and you're not doing it. Good job. I just need you to pull it down just a little bit for me. Thank you. Yeah, you did it. Grudge. But anyways, to cut to the chase, there was a couple games that I still needed to get, and unfortunately they were the most expensive games. I was able to get a sculptor's cut, not easily, but I was able to get it from someone who owned a sculptor's cut, so I didn't have to worry about the shipping. But I had a situation where I think I was trying to buy Super Bowling, which I believe at the time was like a $200 game or $150 game, and I bought it, and the guy shipped it to me, and when I got it in, I opened the package, and inside was Mario Kart 64, which is fun. I mean, it's a good game. I'm not gonna lie, it's a nice, great game. But like, when you spend $150 on a video game, and that video game turns out to not be the one that you bought, it tends to grind your gears, because there's no way you would pay, or I would pay, $150 for Mario Kart. You know? Now, if for some reason I had ordered Mario Party, I don't know, Mario Party 1, and I got a Mario Party 2, and I would let the guy know, but at least at that point, I feel like I've actually spent comparable money, if you will, so that I don't feel like I've completely wasted, the amount of money I put down. So I'm sure Mario Party 1 and Mario Party 2 are probably different prices now. Yeah, you guys are gonna sit over here while I go get the blue Pikmin. At last you have encountered them. They seem to have gill-like ducts on their cheeks. They must be blue Pikmin. Like the other types, they look to you for direction. While they indeed survive naturally, they seem to long for a valiant leader. Boy, this is some corporate speak at worst. Like, while the layman is capable of running his own business, he looks towards the corporation to truly teach him how to be a good businessman. Only through corporation and our peak managerial training do these Pikmin ever truly learn the value of their hours, and do they actually make the wages that they are entitled to. But sort of what I was saying about the buying and selling of the video games, aside from the fact, again, that I've basically quit because of the repo market, is just completely... It's got me in such a fucking tizzy, it just makes me mad. And some of that, I believe, is because at one point, when I was trying to collect the black box, some of the black box games, I ended up falling into a trap and ended up buying a I should have known better, because the box itself was well below what it should have cost. Like, if the box was supposed to cost $10, and you charged me $5 for it, I get it, you know, like, oh well, I lost $5. But if you put a zero there, you say that it's supposed to cost $100, and you paid $50 for it, you either made one hell of a profit deal, or in all likelihood, what you're buying is fake. Which is what it was fake. So that soured me very much. I have the actual cartridge. It's the real cartridge. I have the real guide. I just was trying to find a box, you know, to complete the all of the stuff together. And you know, obviously the box is hard to find. It's hard to get. It's Donkey Kong Jr. Mouth, if anyone cares. But it was about that time between all of the repos that were not being listed as repos anymore on eBay, and it's starting to pop up at the flea markets. But I didn't want to take a chance of just fucking going there, looking at it and going, I have to pick this physically up to see if the plastic is wrong. Then, even if the plastic is right, I gotta make sure that I don't fuck myself by, you know, basically mistaking what seems like a great deal for something that is, in fact, gonna be fake on the inside. So... And why does it matter? Well, on the one hand, here's why it matters. One, you know what they say, you don't pirate. Pirates are bad. You wouldn't pirate a car. You wouldn't steal a movie theater, you know, blah blah blah. But like, don't pretend that if we've agreed upon the price of a game or anything you want to talk about, remote control, a book, whatever. We agree upon a price, and I want to pay $10 for that, and you say it's worth 11. We can come to agreement. Maybe I pay you 11, maybe I pay you the 10. We're close, though, you know. But when you tell me that you typed up the Word document of that book, and you've got it on printer paper, and you say, this book would cost you $11 if you bought it from me, but I've got the printed copy that will only cost you $7. Do you want the knowledge? If you want the knowledge, then pay the $7. But at that point, you're just buying something that's stolen anyways. So I'm not paying $100 for a repo cart when I can go online, find the ROM that you put on a thing. Hi, Papa. Mama heard you got a promotion She's very happy. You're a lot of people under her now, under you now, right? I mean, you're a super captain? I got one person under me and I got one person above me. They're not much of a company right now. Unless you count the Pikmin, then yeah, I got a ton of employees that I sometimes send to their early grave. But if I'm going to buy a repo cart, I could just as easily go online, find the ROM, not put it on a physical piece of hardware, play it on my computer, and we're done. But if I want the authentic thing, I'm buying the authentic thing. You know? If I want the one that my dad would never be able to afford because it was expensive then, it's probably even more expensive now, but you know, the one that you would talk about from his childhood with Mickey Mantle's rookie card. Very expensive. Probably way more now than it would have been in the 90s when he was trying to collect those cards. Long story short. I'll make a long story short here. Would my father have been happy to get a photocopied version of a I'm doing great. I'm doing great with these blue Pikmin. Just eat them all. Eat them all. Well, that is starting the level over level of fuckery right there. We're not gonna do that though. But again, you know, if I said, hey, I can make you a photocopy version of this card, it'll cost you $5, $10, $15. How much does the paper cost you? How much did it cost for you to put it on a photocopy, flip it over, and do both sides? Not a lot, I'm sure. That means it's not worth anything to me either. Now, if you have the authentic card, now it's worth something because it's authentic. You see. But you know, of course, anything that gets big, gotta have scalpers. They gotta ruin everything, you know. Why? Because they're looking to make a quick buck. And if you're not smart enough, it's your fault that you got scalped. And then in return, video games, of course, will continue to go up in price until ultimately no one wants them anymore. And then the entire market will plummet. Will it ever occur? I don't know. I assume that eventually it will, but for the most part, I watched its NES games basically went up and up and up and up. I don't know if there's too many people out there necessarily looking for them still. I'm sure there are plenty of places out there still people looking for them, but if you didn't get your collection in the 2020s, or I mean, sorry, the 2000s/2010s, you're probably not ever going to get it. Just because the price just of the big, hardest to find games just keeps going up. So my big thing is I look for games that I think I would enjoy playing, first of all, and second of all, that I can find for somewhat cheap. And I try not to mention games that I buy because, not that I'm worth, you know, I'm worth about as much as a pile of dog shit on the bottom of your foot right now, or bottom of your shoes right now. But you know, I've watched where content creators have talked about, I really liked insert game. I'll say Super Mario 1 because it's so super common. It came with every fucking console practically. But say Super Mario 1, even that's more expensive than it should be. Everybody used to get the Mario Duck Hunt combo pack. Every kid that had an NES had that cartridge. But for some reason, despite the fact that when I used to collect, you would see 20 of them sitting on the shelf, I'm hard-pressed to find them now, and I don't know why. I don't know if people are experimenting on them, or they're cannibalizing them and turning them into something else that's more hard to find, or what. Alright, Blue Pikmin, we're gonna send you down here, and we're gonna have you take out this wall. Slash, probably drain this moat of some sort. I don't know how that works, but we'll do that. Once the moat's drained, I'll be able, if the moat drains, I guess. I guess I don't know. This looks like it's a shortcut, so I'm imagining that this would be drained in some capacity. Also, I think those Pikmin are attacking that rock. Looks like we got fruit boxes that need to be taken care of again. Eating all my spicy mustards. Alright, we drained the swamp. Now we just have to take on the wall. Super trumpers. What we're gonna do, except instead of building a wall, we're gonna knock down the wall like Reagan said. Mr. Gorbachev. Tear down this wall, Mr. President. The yellow Pikmin are important because now that the water is gone, I can use them to also beat up this thing. Of course, I'm waiting to see if perhaps the wall will come down. Tore down the wall, Mr. Gorbachev.